It still says going live, and we are live. Hello, everyone. We're live. This is Damian from the Lookout, and I'm here once again with Peter Dance, the king of Invoker. How are you doing, Peter?
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. It's not long finished work, so I'm a bit tired. But I thought let's talk about lovely band cards.
Yes, yes. Let's here, guys. For Valentine's Day, we are going to be talking bad things about all the decks. So yeah, that is the Lookout special for this day. I'm just
Just in time for a really good event that's coming out soon.
yes. Yeah, this is in honor of the upcoming Xenoverse event at the Zenkai Showdown 2. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm just sharing these to the main group, and okay. I'm jumping in again. So hello everyone. I need to check. Like, okay, we have a couple of viewers here. So, like Peter said, we are doing the Showdown 2, where we'll have the Xenoverse format in which all of these bands, I mean, this is only for the side event, but all of these bands will be lifted. So let's take a look at how good some of these cards actually are right now. So, Peter, here's how I imagine we go about this. So, tier 0, the clearly broken stuff.
Yeah.
Tier 1, meta defining, ones that if they were in play right now, they would just warp the meta around them completely.
Okay.
Tier 2, decent, doesn't mean bad, but just, like decent, strong cards. Then we have tier 3, which is bad, and tier 4, which is like actual trash, because I think there is some actual trash on this list. So
Yeah, exactly. Because some of the band cards were only good for a certain reason, and they probably shouldn't be banned now. But then, I mean, we've seen it already. The what's it called? The Go 10, is it? The 2-cost yellow one that looked at the top 3. I mean, that was banned. It's come off the ban list and nobody plays it.
yeah. So we have first off, hello everyone. We have 16 viewers here. Hi everyone. Shall we start the ban list? The tier list. Peter.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Okay, so I'll take first, because I mean, these two are easy. So, objection, I think in my opinion, I think objection sits solidly in tier 0. Like, we see what Blue Beerus does with basically objection always in hand. So now just imagine that every other deck has the same card at the very start. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 second. Sorry, apparently my sound. Do you have me on speakers or something? Because my
Yeah, I have you on speakers. I need to have you on speakers for this. So, I hear you normally. Yeah, so speak something.
Sorry, I was just reading the chat. So yeah, objection then. So that's going to be tier 0 OP.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Like tier 0 OP objection. Like, obviously, it's tier 0. You see, like I said, you see what Blue Beerus does.
Yeah.
Yeah, with it. So now just imagine everything else doing it anyway. so
Yeah, but you also put it into Beerus and it gets even more crazy.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy about this list? We will see cards like objection that ramp, and we will immediately see cards that punish them. So that's gonna be awesome. The next one is yours. The next one is yours.
Bad thing. Bad Wings tier 0 OP. Like a 1-cost counter. Fair enough, it is yellow, but it's broken. It never will see the light of play ever again.
Yeah, that's like people are. I'm sorry, guys. Like I see that people are saying that like it sounds weird, but like I don't know. I don't know on my end what's the cause of this, because like the setup is the same as always. Only Peter sounds weird, or do I also sound weird? Just let me know in the comments, and then we'll see what's happening. Maybe it's just OBS being shit.
I mean, I can always disconnect, reconnect on the call, if it's just me.
Yeah.
But it seems like they can, hear like an echo or something by the sounds of things. Let me disconnect, reconnect anyway while we're waiting. 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
I'm back.
Okay. Eric says sound good to me. Michael says only you. Hopefully it fixes itself, I guess. Okay. Yeah, now it's better. Okay. So, Peter, you have the second one.
Yeah, so we're talking about bad ring laser.
Yeah.
Well, as I say, that card is OP. It can't exist now, and it can never exist ever again. It's a 1-cost counter. I mean, at the moment, most like yellow decks are willing to pay 3 mana for counter. This is 1 mana. This will never exist ever again.
Okay, can you just imagine this? Like this used to be a 4-off.
Yeah, it was disgusting. Obviously, for anyone that didn't know, it was mostly used in the Broly promo leader, and it was just shockingly broken.
Yeah. Next one is okay, so this one we will add more cards along with this one because of basically the same reason. But next one is Tao. And Tao is one of those victims of free play caused by King Vegeta. When King Vegeta was huge, I believe that's when Tao was banned, when Bandai was really cracking on free play. But looking at it in a vacuum, like looking at it like, okay, what if it were unbanned now and or how it was before? I think that Tao is just like, I think that Tao is just kind of like genuine trash. Like I think it just belongs here. Like is this a card that you would play today? And like in which red decks will you be playing this? Like 15k guy in a format where Z leaders exist and everything else that can just ruffle stomp it.
Yeah, the key is it's a crit and it's another attacker.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It's a very difficult one to look at that card on its own, because when it existed, it was to get Balmont out and to constantly get loads of free plays and free attackers out. Personally, I think if we were allowed to play it now, would it see play? It's a 15k crit. There's only crit for that turn. In red decks, because if we look at what red decks we have currently, I think the only deck it would be played in is Pan.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Mikey will correct me wrong, but I couldn't imagine SS4 Gogeta wanting it over any of the other toys it's got. So I think it's okay. I don't think I'd put it in trash just because it's an extra attacker and it's crit and it's free, but I think it's okay. So I think anywhere between tier 2, tier 3 for me personally. But
and you need 3 or more non-token battle cards to play him for free. So you don't really go wide anymore. So
no, it's okay. It's like I say, I personally wouldn't feel like it's a trash. Obviously, it's your pick, so you can put it there if you want to. I think it's a little bit better than trash. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's not like most decks. Like even if you look at Red Sin, it's not going that wide. And yeah.
Well, you have the next one.
Trunks. Yeah, it's not OP, especially because there's a lot more deflect cards. I think it's I want to say it's tier 2 for decent, because I don't think it's tier 1. because not every deck ran it. But I think I kind of like it in the tier 2 decent category for the trunks.
My logic is like I'm between 1 and 2. When I went to say like meta defining, it's just that like trunks warped the meta game. Like I mean, like now we're seeing that its existence is causing something else to exist. I mean, it being left out. But then again, the same as you said, a lot of decks just played, like 2 copies sometimes, and like,
yeah, I can also see arguments for tier 1 because, like you say, even though it's not technically meta defining in terms of it changes the way Bandai create boss monsters, so it kind of is meta defining in that respect because they know that this card is free. However, there's some decks didn't even run it or just ran 1 or 2 copies. And also with a lot of the Z battle cards having deflect, but then it also I feel like tier 2 is fine.
Okay.
I feel like it's not like so broken that it's tier 1, but I think it is very good.
Well, next I have this one, Part of the Resolute. Okay, this one is ancient. Double Strike Unique from set 10. If your leader is red, when your opponent's life is added to their hand or placed in the drop by a skill, you may play this card from your hand. And then auto once per turn, when your opponent activates a counter skill, you restand him. So I think he got banned the same when the King Vegeta massacre happened. That sounds so ominous. Like the King Vegeta massacre happened.
I'll get the dates up while you're checking. I mean it's a crazy strong card. I mean
It's even today I would at least put it in decent. It's definitely not meta defining. I don't think that it's meta defining, but like in red decks, this just like extra pressure where okay, so what if a card is added to, if a life is added to their hand on placed in the drop area by a skill. So yeah, like it's not difficult to play. I think this one is like at least decent. It's an extra attacker who punishes you when you use a counter. He just restands. So
I think he is broken as hell and he should never exist because so let's say he does one damage. Sorry, you do 1 damage, you play him for free. You swing with him. Let's say they don't negate it and they just combo out of it. I mean, it's still a double, which is great against unisons. But then at any point during that turn, if they activate a counter, he restands. So it's like a dual attack 15k double strike that's cost you no mana.
Yeah.
And fair enough, you've got to be a red leader. I mean, it's very strong. And I could guarantee that if it existed, it would definitely be played, 100%. So I think it's really strong.
Well, you have the next one.
This is the crit guy, and if I remember, he's got an activate main that warps. Is it a 3 or less? If my memory is correct.
If your leader is activate main, send this card to its owner's warp, and you can play. Choose one, 4 or less.
Oh, 4 or less. Okay, even better. Yeah. So this guy was a beast. You make your opponent discard a card, and then you play him for no mana. He's 15k crit, and then he can kill a battle card after, or get rid of a battle card after. See, I don't think this is as strong as the Bardock. I mean, it is very good, but I mean, and it would definitely be ran in hand control decks. So I'd probably put it on the same level. If you're going to put Bardock in tier 2, then I think I'd put it the same. Then I don't think I would. I wouldn't put it lower. No, it's not bad. It's very good.
Yeah, I wouldn't also put it lower. I also think that like this one came out. I think he got killed the same when like Cell Xeno died. I mean Cell Surge. but like it came out in set 10, and now green has even more ways to discard cards from hand. Now you have like Unison's Z battle cards, like ton of ways to cheat this guy in. So like, okay, it's good. It's still good, you know. Hand destruction is bad, but it's still a good card.
So just to add some contents for the people that are curious, so it was in the September 3 ban list. So yeah, pretty much this is the one that gutted a lot of free play. So Balmont, Mercenary Tau, Bardock, which we talked about, the Goku, which we just talked about, and also Mecha Frieza was also hitting that same era as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all the free play stuff that they got rid of.
Well, I'll talk about the upcoming one, and that is Secret ID. And like, guys, if you have followed the channel for any amount of time when we talk about the ban lists on tier lists, I hate that this card was banned. I absolutely hate, because it was banned for a stupid reason, for the shitty Towa deck to see play, and then it never saw play. So like, this was one of those just like, why bans? But it was an overall card that was played everywhere. So like you cannot make an argument that this would like be in any tier below 2 if it comes out. Like it's an amazing card. Would it be meta defining? I don't think it would shape the metagame around itself. So I don't think there is any deck that this specifically threatens so much that it will just push it out. So I think we have like another tier 2 card on our hand. Like, it's decent. And decent doesn't mean bad, it's just like strong. So I mean, like, decent on this tier list is probably broken for stuff that aren't on the ban list. So yeah,
I think so as well. I think it's a very decent card. I mean, we have Broly now that does a similar function. So yeah, very good card. But like you say, not meta defining.
Okay, so now you have Piano.
This is a difficult one. I mean, King Piccolo was a beast. I mean, the thing is, Piano, I mean, the deck could still do well without Piano. So Piano, basically, I guess the question is, if Piano came back, would King Piccolo come back?
Keep in mind...
that's the one, King Piccolo. Sorry?
Just to clarify one thing, for this tier list, limited cards are still limited. So if he comes back, Drum is still limited.
Okay, yeah. And also the Unison then is still limited. I would say no, it doesn't come back.
Sorry, let's just say that everything isn't limited, because we're talking about, something for Xenoverse, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so the limited is not limited.
Yeah.
I think this... So if we're talking about the fact the Unison won't be limited, Drum won't be limited, King Piccolo will all of a sudden become great tier. I think this I'm happy to put into meta defining, because I mean, I don't know if it hits the criteria, but basically King Piccolo would be back.
Yeah.
But King Piccolo, I guess, didn't really set the meta, but I'm not really sure. I mean, a whole new deck would come out because of it.
Yeah, I think that's the standard for meta defining. And speaking of that, like, I think that I would push Trunks up there as well, just because it exists. It's not here. New decks are coming into play, just like King Piccolo would come into play.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to shape the meta around it. It just needs to bring something, basically. So you think King Piccolo would be... I mean, like, King Piccolo would definitely be strong, Like, would it... I'm not sure... I'm not debating would it come back. I'm more wondering how would it do now in... in this super strong, super aggressive Zenkai era, man, with Z leaders and everything else. That would be interesting to see how King Piccolo would handle the metagame right now.
Yeah, it would. I mean, King Piccolo drew a lot. He placed a lot of threats. He had a lot of free value. Because that's the thing as well. It's all the comboing, like just pure value. Like that deck was an absolute animal. Whether or not it'd be an animal today, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it would have easy ways to charge. And don't forget, in King Piccolo, some turns you had a lot of mana available as well. So like that's when you could then start bringing out the Zenkai battle cards and stuff. So, and because it's red, it's got access to obviously Vegeta, and then it would have a lot of Yamcha's counterplays and whatnot. So, I think it would be incredibly strong. So, yeah, I think it's fair where it is. And like I say, when we're talking meta defining, I feel like this whole new deck would come out, which would alter the meta. Plus, I also thinking about just slightly agree with the Trunks, because with that existing, it completely changes the blue versus blue matchup and like the ramp versus ramp decks, because you have to play around that particular card. So by nature, I agree with what you said actually now, where technically it does define the meta existing, because you can't, there's certain decks that won't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Now is the difficult one, because like this one is teetering on Michael unsubscribing or not, We'll leave it for later just to keep him watching, like we can leave.
I'm sure he knows where that's going anyway.
Yeah. I think that because like we said, we're also, because we're taking into consideration Xenoverse as a format, limits are also off. So if this guy comes back, then Thwarting is back, and then Gogeta Xeno is back, and I think this goes into tier 1 without question, I think that's...
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if we're putting King Piccolo as meta defining, Gogeta definitely is meta defining.
Yeah. There shouldn't be a trash tier, just enabler tier. Yeah, but we have trash because, some things really here stink, man. Like, some things are real stinkers here. Not a lot of them. Not a lot, but a very few of them are. But yeah, Gogeta Xeno would come back and it would be horrible for everyone not playing.
Yeah, I'm happy we're not in that era anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think that the next two ones are, I think the next two ones are easy. I think we can just place both of them. I think we can just put both of them back. I mean, Haze goes definitely into meta defining.
Yeah, 100%.
And I would put the Goku one there as well. Because maybe not Goku. Goku maybe
no. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. I think the Goku is going to be quite low on the list, because if we look at SS4 currently, it survived without it.
Yeah.
And it's fine without it. So I think maybe even put it as bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's still a good card, but the deck is fine. Obviously, it loses its defensive ability, but I mean the deck is fine. I think tier 3 is correct for us.
Yeah, I think it is. So Miyamoto says Tao was enabling. Yeah, Tao was enabling stuff, but we're also, we are taking that into consideration. That cards have enabled some other cards, but we're also looking their interaction before they were banned and what would they look like now after everything is lifted. So that's why we're just outside of that small enabling, it's just Peter, you want to talk about Trunks or Zeno button?
Give me Zeno.
Okay,
I love Zeno. I love Zeno as a character, so give me Zeno.
I'll talk about Trunks then. One of my first decks in the game was Knockout Strike Gogeta, because I just bought the starter deck, focused on Gogeta 7-drop, which is also here. And this deck, I think everything except starter deck things is banned or somewhere, limited or errated. And one of the best things in it was this Trunks. This Trunks is a monster. Like this Trunks is so insane. I have no idea who thought that like this is okay. Imagine Xeno super combo on steroids. Like it doesn't give you plus 10k. It works only on your turn, but when you combo, he just flat out restands an energy. Not a blue energy. He just restands one when you combo with him. So horrible things that you would do with this card is you would play, let's say, some of your key pieces, and then let's say you cheat out a boss monster that costs like 2 energy. I don't know. No, back in the day you couldn't do that, but like you play your key pieces, you swing, you combo with Trunks, you restand the energy that you need for your key stuff, and then like you just keep replaying it constantly. The card is absurd. If this card came out of the ban list today, it would break the game completely. I think this card would absolutely break the game. Like, we have ways of stopping it now. We have ways to stop it. But like when it existed, this was just insane. This came out of ban list very early on. So, Peter, do you think this card would break the game if it were played as a 4-off today?
It's a difficult one because there's some really strong things about it. It is limited to a blue leader at least, but one of the key things about this card is because of where we're at right now, it's excellent Z charge, plus you don't have to combo it from your hand. So it makes the decks that can combo from grave. So like, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but anything that doesn't blank skills, all of a sudden you're now untapping energy for free, and then Z charge, and then spend that mana, and then do it all over again or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very dangerous card. It's a tricky one because it is kind of an enabler. Like in terms of, like if I could run one copy, I would run one. But would I run 4? Unless I was like a hyper aggressive deck, I'm guessing no. Like obviously, like the only time we had 4 was in Storm format, and that was because it was attacking so much, so it made sense. But
yeah. Sorry for interrupting you. I just had a thought when you said would you run 4. Gohan superhero with 4 of these.
Ah, that's a good point. Actually.
Yeah, that would.
Nice one there, Dave, my brother.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be actually really dangerous, and that would be scary.
Yeah, I would. Now, would you put this one into overpowered? I think I'm close to putting this one in tier 0, man, because like this is just waiting to break something. Like if you're not putting it in Gohan, then you put it like into Android 18 that's just being spoiled. Then you do the same thing. You put it into Android 21 and then you just replay Bad Omen like a madman.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's very dangerous, and the fact it's easy Z energy as well. I think it's very good. I don't know if it is tier 0, but then like say the idea of it being in Gohan is very, very scary. I'll let you decide. I think it's definitely it's either tier 1 or tier 0. I will let you be the judge of that one since it's your card.
Well, because I am slightly biased, I would put it in tier 0. And you know, like there is another thing about this. The another reason why I would put it in tier 0, it restands any energy.
Yeah.
Anything. Multicolored, non-blue energy. If you play like blue yellow, you're just kinda laugh. You just like restand whatever you need. Like it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Plus, if you, like you said, if you find a way to bring it back from the drop in a combo without blanking it, yeah, it's dangerous. But now you have the Xeno button.
Now, wow, this card, wow, this will never ever see the light of play in any existence ever again. Like, this is OP 100%. Like, yeah, there's no question about it. It switches all the blue energy, and it's not mono. So obviously the Arrival decks, the Invoker decks, everything. You just restand all your energy. So all of a sudden you've gone from basically tapped out, and then all of a sudden, and it's 0 mana. It's not even 1 mana, guys. So it's like this is tier 0, 100%. It's just broken.
Well, the thing is, I agree, absolutely. Tier 0, I'm not even gonna contest this. This is definitely tier 0. The thing is, a lot of these cards can be countered today. There are ways of countering them. But when you don't manage to pull those ways off, then it's pretty horrible horrible experience for you. So like, yeah, this would definitely break you at some point. This will just break everything. So definitely tier 0, absolute tier 0. Now is the leader. So arguably one of the best blue leaders in the game. Like, I spoke with some people about the upcoming Xenoverse format, and I've asked a bit around, like, hey guys, like, what do you think in an environment where everything is unbanned, what would break the game? And one of arguments that I've heard is that it's most likely going to be this leader or like Super Shenron or something. That like this SS3 is impossibly strong. So for those of you who don't know what he does, he is basically the rebooted SS3, except you can restand any color of energy. So he just restands anything at the end of your turn. Free energy. Which makes splashing anything with blue extremely dangerous with this guy around. And of course he ramps 2 every turn. You what do? You discard 1. If you have no energy, choose 2, so you immediately can do horrible stuff at the very start. Yeah.
Yeah, the difference between why this one is going to be stronger than the reboot is, like you say, I mean, obviously on the back side or the awakened side, obviously you're untapping, any 3 energy rather than, forced to do mono blue. But it's more to do with the beginning ramping. So it's an activate main. So you put it in, you put 1 card from your hand to the drop. And then if you have no energy, you can choose 2 life and add a. So in a nutshell, you've got the option to basically get two mana turn 1, which is pretty big. However, I don't think I'm as sold. I know this might be a controversial pick, but I actually am not sold on this being a good leader. I know that. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but I compare. Obviously, I didn't. Sadly, I never existed in set 3. I came in set 5. But if I look at the reboot leader, which can ramp probably quicker than this deck, because you can ramp every turn, where it's just a one-off effect, and you're losing 2 life as well. You can only do 6 energy. So yes, the ability to untap anything will be good for counterplays, but we're not in that kind of counterplay meta. Anymore. So, what counterplays am I actually playing that I wouldn't be playing in blue anyway? So I'm gonna go on a limb and show my maybe inexperience with the leader, but I actually don't think it would be a very good leader. So
I'm reading in the chat what people are saying. You don't need to run this one in a blue deck. You can have it like Helm red decks, for example. And then he just restands red energy. He doesn't need to be a blue leader. I mean, he's a blue leader. He doesn't need to helm. I definitely don't think that he's like tier 0. I don't think that he's tier 0. Now, I think tier 1, probably. I think he would, if he were unbanned, I would consider him placing him in tier 1 as a leader that enables at least one deck that will probably see play in the meta. Probably. But like, would that actually happen? I'm kind of the torn between 1 and 2 with this one.
I actually want to go lower.
You want to go low? However, he stopped by cunning cards, right?
No, cunning doesn't stop leaders
Yeah.
or whatever the text is. You'll have to forgive me, because otherwise it would have worked on the original one. I think cunning is non-leaders. Give me 2 milliseconds and I'll find out. I forgot the exact text. Draw 1 if the turn player would use the skill of a battle card or an extra card. So yeah, it doesn't work on leaders.
Mm-hmm. So what, we put it in like tier 3? I'm hearing tier 3 in the chat for this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. Also, I want to maybe reconsider the Xeno choice, because cunnings exist now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I had something that didn't exist when that card came out. Well, correction, it existed towards the end, but cunning. Oh no, it's during their turn anyway. So yeah, cunning doesn't even touch Xeno. Ignore me.
No.
Yeah, because it's turn play, so it's defensive beans, not offensive. Yeah. So Xeno won't even touch the cunning. So yeah, leave it as tier 0. But the leader, I think, is bad, personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, tier 3 at the best, or tier 4 trash.
Okay, let's put it in 3 then. I'm leaving the next one to you because I wasn't there when this one was causing havoc. So.
Oh God, Shigesh! Wow. This is 100% tier 0. I mean, this would change the meta. This would destroy everything. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, it's a super combo. And when you combo it, if your leader is yellow and you have lives 4 or less, so standard super combos, it gets 10k, which is great. And then you're able to play up to 1 Saiyan from your hand, entry cost of 3 or less, and play it. Now, think of all of the 3-cost Saiyans in this game for yellow. Well, I mean, technically, it's not even limited on the color that you bring out. You just have to be a yellow leader. However, there was only one counter to it, which was what was her name now? The little 1-drop black card.
I wasn't playing back then.
Pardon, sorry?
I wasn't playing back then.
Oh, I forgot its name. But anyway, I'm sure the chat will remind me of what it was called. That was like the counter to it, but even when you ran it, that's it, Corona. Yeah, Shigesh is tier 0. If it was like, it would be. It's broken. You can cheat out stuff. Like, imagine cheating out Son Goku Annihilator for no mana.
Yeah. So
it's like, what? Okay.
I think
no extra cards for me, thanks.
I think chat is in agreement with you. I'm reading Shugesh's love, OP trash, fuck this card. Transgeta would love this.
Yeah. There's no question that Shigesh should never see live play ever.
Yeah. Next, I'm gonna be quick about this. I'm just throwing this Trunks into trash. Like,
it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it was so good. Sorry to cut you off. It was so good in Gogeta Xeno because it was free.
But if you unban it today and you put him at like 4, like, there are so much better things that you can overwhelm right now. So I think
you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go.
I think you pack like 1 or 2. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. Like, but I still think that it's just like tier 4. Like, with anything else that exists now, I think that like tier 4 is fair. Even today, it's like a 15k attacker. It's like, okay. Let's see, Trunks is trash. Yes, people are also saying, oof. Pete, I'd like to take one because the next one because I don't know much about where to put flute, you know. So if you're okay with this, I'll just grab scientist as well. I mean,
Yeah,
shrouded
go
in
for it.
mystery. I love this card. I really love this card. I think
Yeah.
that like it's good. Like it's a finisher that some decks desperately need. It helps close out the games. If you ask me, like this thing should never have been banned in the first place. Cause like yeah, you say like okay, it can finish off the game. Yeah, in turn 6. You know, on turn 6 you can play him. If the game has dragged out long enough and games need to end at some point. So like I played it in like flood floodgate tribal king cold and stuff like that. You know, it just comes in and steals games. I think this one is good. I don't think that it's OP. I don't think that bringing it back would like define the meta. It's still slow. It's still like 6 energy. Even with blue ramping like crazy, it's still 6 energy. But I don't also think that it's bad, and I don't think that it's trash either. I think this is like a solid tier 2 in my opinion. I might be biased for like something higher, but I think that like tier 2 would be like fine. It's a card that you would basically run in plenty of decks when you're just looking like, okay, it's time to close the game. If I go for too long, how do I do this? Let's put Fu in there, but I don't think it's going to be like warping the meta.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a difficult one because the thing is, blue is such a rampy color now, and like the 6 mana back then literally was turn 6, where now, like let's say when I'm playing Beerus, I can get 16 energy turn 5, or give or take. In some cases, you can get even quicker. So it's like, but then Beerus is a bit more unique because it's going to a win con instead. But then it's like, there's obviously other ramp decks as well. I mean, it would still be a good, like I say, it's not tier 1 or anything like that, but I think it's still a good card, but it is a bit more, I would be curious to see the impact on it in a ramp deck, to see how broken it could be in that kind of environment.
I think like tier 2 for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Like this one never should have been banned. Like back then, yeah, it made sense, but like now it's okay. Take the flute. Take the flute.
Wow, this is a card and a half, isn't it? Now the question is, would it be good now? So if we look at it, activate main. If your leader's blue, basically bounce back one of you or your opponent's battle cards, and it costs of 3 or less, return to the owner's hand. And if it was your own battle card, draw one. I mean, you have to be a blue leader. So if we look at blue decks, it has to be 3 or less. Like obviously, when this existed, it was around Storm days. How well would it do now? I mean, the problem is all the blue decks, except for Crimson and the Gohan, because that's another scary, the Gohan SH deck. If we look at ramp decks, it's going to do absolutely nothing for ramp decks. So it's absolutely trash for ramp decks. So there's only 2 decks that it would work in off the top of my head. Crimson, bringing back the Piccolo would be a good choice. And then you've got the dual attackers on that. Or obviously in the Gohan deck. So I don't think it's like broken, because I think when it existed, it was broken. However, I don't feel like it is now. I feel like, I don't know. Unless chat can convince me, I kind of feeling like tier 3, because most blue decks ramp now, but maybe tier 2. I don't know, chat. Does anyone in chat want to convince me otherwise that Legendary Flute should not be, it should be higher than tier 2 or tier 3, considering the blue decks we currently have? Because I don't think there's anything that would make me think that this would come out and be instantly broken. So.
Yeah, I'm checking the chat. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Mr. Syme says free is always good.
yeah,
We have some tier zeros here, cycling floodgates with gammas.
yeah, true. I could see some strength there with Gamma.
Anything running Android 17 counter attack.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
floodgate one.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
probably be used more as a defensive tool, I guess, getting your defensive cards back. And you draw cards, so if you add the android back to your hand, you draw a card, so the card you've paid, say for Gamma's Floodgate, is now null and void, pretty much. Yeah, I think tier 2, I think it's decent, but it's not like broken. I feel like tier 2 is fair.
It would be
'Cause
like sorry.
Oh no, I've finished.
Yeah, it would be like a strong tech option, you know, it wouldn't warp the meta entirely around itself, definitely.
Yeah.
But it was terrifying back in its day. It was terrifying. So I just see by the amount of tier zeros that we had in the chat that people remember how terrifying this card was back in the day. Speaking of cards that were terrifying back in the day, Bardock the Progenitor. This one also was. This one was also a big deal back in the day. This one was insane. But nowadays, like the big thing with this one is, yeah, it was a one-cost swap too, and then you would, if I recall correctly, you would swap into Goten one that like grabs from the top 3. And it would, in Hero Storm, it helps you awaken faster because you basically add lives to your hand. But nowadays, I don't think this guy does anything nowadays, man. I don't think this guy does. Like, you awaken turn 2 anyway today. Like, if you awaken turn 1, like most of the time, you just don't do anything. So, I think this card doesn't have a reason to be on the ban list anymore. It's, you know.
Yeah, I've been saying that for ages. Literally, Bardock 100% could come off the ban list and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, with the ruling change on swap, where you have to swap, you have to show a swap target. You can't just play it for one. Swap into nothing. Like, let's say you've got no target in your hand, you can still swap into nothing. However, you have to reveal a applicable target in your hand. So this would never see the light of play. Like, I could guarantee you this would be unbanned, and this would not be in any top tier decks.
You know, you remember when they gave us, I think it was Battle Evolution Booster, when they gave us like, Chad, do you remember when they gave us like a Bardock the Progenitor, the miniature one, the balanced one? Was it in Battle Evolution Booster?
Which one?
There was another Bardock made to replace this one. I think in Battle Evolution Booster came out.
Yeah, because it had a limit 1, didn't it?
Yeah, and it did like literally nothing when it came out also. So.
Yeah, I mean, all this does is, you know, it should have always been, I think, leader locked to lineage, and that's it. They shouldn't have touched it. They shouldn't have banned it, but this could,
Yeah. Sorry. If I interrupt you, you just talk, man. Like so.
No, it's fine. There's a small, for anyone that doesn't know, there's obviously a small delay, so it's a bit harder. But yeah, because obviously I have you on my YouTube, and there's a delay, and so, but it's fine. It's we happy days. But yeah, this is where we are really. It should be off the ban list. It shouldn't even be on there.
Well, you now have one of the most broken cards in the game, man. Oh man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, take it away.
Minus Killie Zone. Wow. I can't believe we never used to just run 4 of these, like just for a 0 cost draw one. Like when I look back, you know, you used to maybe pack 1 or 2, but like I don't know, I think we're all crazy back then. This 100% is tier 0. For anyone that doesn't know, basically, it's an activate main, 0 mana. You send 3 cards from your drop to your warp. You draw a card, and then your opponent may not activate counterplay skills for the duration of the turn. So no counterplays whatsoever. Imagine like SS4 Gogeta.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like no dirty burst for you. Like this single-handedly is probably, I would say, out of all the cards we're going to look at, I think this is probably one of the strongest cards in existence, purely because it costs no mana and there's no counterplays.
Yeah.
And that's huge, I think, personally.
Yeah. It's an extra card. You literally cannot stop it when your opponent activates it. You're just dead in the water. Like, yeah, I absolutely agree. This is one of the strongest cards in the game ever. You know, it's insane. Like, it's one of those that like rightfully belongs on tier 0 and on the ban list until the end of time. Like, this is insane.
It'll never come back. Never.
Now I'll get to talk about my favorite card in the game. Like, oh man.
Another broken card.
Man, if this one came out of the ban list, I would be the happiest person alive, man. Like back in I love this card so much that back in 2019 I went to the Brussels Invitational. I met Tatsuro from Bandai there, and I asked him to sign the copy for me. Like,
oh wow!
Yeah, I'm like, I love this card so much. Like, this is my favorite card ever, and then it got banned. Like, so if you need something to get banned, just give it to me, and I'll ask Bandai to sign it. Like, I'll ask someone from Bandai to sign it, and it will get banned. But anyway, story aside, Gogeta is... Well, if you don't know what this card does, 30k triple strike, Union Fusion for 5, Son Goku and Vegeta, 2 blue, 3 generic. Barrier Deflect, so no way on planet to stop this guy from entering. Auto Sparking 10, when you play this card, if you have 5 or more energy, choose 1 card from your life and place it into your drop area, and your opponent shuffles all the cards in their hand into their deck and then draws 3. Think if you thought that turning the tide was a problem. Like, this guy's like turning the tide on steroids. Like, this guy just demolishes. The only downside, I would say, like, you don't really, even back then you didn't have like very amazing Goku and Vegeta cards to Union Fusion, but like today you just ramp so quickly to 5, you drop this guy and that's game. Like, it's over basically the moment you drop this guy. So I think in the blue decks though, the problem is going to be the sparking. Because like, even though this card is great, a deck like Beerus couldn't run it because you're not going to get sparking 10. Obviously, for anyone that didn't know, it was so good in Shenron, because obviously if you think about it with your Dragon Balls, straight away that's most of the sparking already accounted for, and then you discard 2 for the fusion, straight away you're literally at sparking range. So in a deck like that it worked really well, but obviously we had objection back then and things like that you could ramp. So yeah, it's the sparking 10 is not going to work in all decks. However, the decks it does work in, it's pretty broken. I mean, any card that has triple strike, deflect, barrier, is pretty darn good. Yeah.
And then you get the ability where they're going down to 3 cards in the hand. Okay.
Yeah, that's like back in the day when I used to play it. You would play it with. I played it with the starter knockout strike Gogeta leader, who lets your opponent, you discard, I think, if I remember correctly, and your opponent can use counter only once for the turn, and then just like bait the counter out and you just slam this guy and that's it. Like, it's game over basically at that point. So where to put it? I would argue, because I am biased, But I would argue, in my opinion, although you need to pay for this guy, I still think this is definitely the strongest battle card ever made. I think that this guy is absolutely insane. Like, if you're not looking at as a battle card made as a tech piece to stop something, you know, like, or like to prevent, I don't know, like restanding energy stuff like we will have here, I think nothing beats this guy in terms of power. This guy is insane. So I think that this guy, I think I'm biased, but I would put this guy in tier 0, man. I think that this is definitely the best battle card ever made.
I kind of don't fear tier 0, and the reason I say that, and I do agree it's probably one of the best battle cards ever made, it's because the sparking, because obviously when I look at these tier 0 decks, assuming obviously ignoring color restrictions,
yeah,
all those cards will make a huge impact in any deck. Like any yellow deck will want Shigesh, any deck would want Mighty Killer Zone, for example, in Xeno and stuff. Where this one, like in Beerus Ramp, it's going to do absolutely nothing. I know I keep talking about that. It's the only deck I think of when it comes to ramping. But then Shenron's not a thing. So, but then maybe there's other decks that would be a thing. So, well, I don't know. I think it's a very good deck, a very good card, and very broken. I personally think more maybe tier 1, tier 2. Maybe that's a bit controversial. Maybe I'm just forgetting actually how good this card is, because I remember when I used to play Janemba, this was the bane of my existence. But also, we also have Jiren now as well. So don't forget, that's another factor we didn't have back then. You know, the black counterplay card?
We did. Jiren came out when this was legal. Yeah.
Oh, no, it came out a bit later, didn't it? Because it made no sense why it was still banned.
Much when, it didn't really do much, you know, with this. But I think that, again, I'm biased, but I'm looking at, like, Miyamoto is giving a good argument, which is like, you cannot play him in Beerus, but if this card was legal, people would play other blue leaders. Whoever can just get the condition satisfied.
Okay, we can play it in tier 0.
Yes, okay. Now I'm happy, guys. Like, now you can put, like, whatever, man. Like, oh, man. Yes, best battle card. Now, Frank Miller, hit like button if you're watching this video, man. I remember when Frank was making Postman rants about this card every single day in group. Yeah. Well, now you have you have a child's wish.
Wow! So this is a card. This is a card that's so good as well. So, for anyone who didn't know, this was also why wish leaders were so amazing back in the day. So, Child's Wish. I mean, it might not seem good on paper, but it actually is. Just think of like what you could bring back. So it's got Desire, which is great, so it means you can pick it up for most of your effects. And then when your leader is a Shenron card, you can choose one battle card in your drop area with 15k power or less, energy cost 3 or less, and play it. Now, back then, obviously, you're mostly doing it for, say, Height of Mastery. For the Goku that swaps into Height of Mastery. Forgot its name off the top of my head.
Was it the...
It was a 3-cost 9.
Yeah, it 19. Was but I don't remember.
It wasn't that one, was it? What did we used to bring back with this card?
Guess what did we used to bring back with this card? Please let us know.
I'm here talking about how broken it was. I don't even remember what we used to bring back.
It was called Goku Peto Greatness. But I'm not reading this from chat, it's just like memory. It was Peto Greatness. It wasn't a set card, I think it was a promo. That was the one that brings Height of Mastery.
Yes, Explore Bulma, which was for Super Shenron as well. Let me just see, because I don't know why, but even though I was kind of saying how broken it was, part of me doesn't even remember why it was broken. What did it used to do? I think it was just the higher mastery. I think that's all it literally was for the higher mastery deck, and Explorer Bulma. So, what 3-cost 15Ks would we have now that matters?
You also need to play a Wish Leader for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually going to, without checking every single 3-cost 15K, I'm going to take it back and actually say it's not as strong as I remember it being. Because the only deck it works in is Higher Mastery, and that's not a great deck. Obviously, it works for Super Shenron. It does. You could argue it makes it meta-defining in Shenron, but then it's more of an enabler for Shenron more than anything.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm actually going to say like tier 2 or tier 3. I don't actually, like, I was going to go higher with it, but I don't actually think it's as good as I remember. And most 3 drops now are probably more than 15k anyway. Like the Annihilator is a 20k, Slug is 20k, I think. Yeah, Slug's 20k. So you can't, like, if you could bring back Slug and stuff like that, I would put it higher, but it has to be 3 or less, and it has to be 15k or less. So I think a lot of the really strong targets you would want to bring back now, it doesn't actually hit. So I feel like it's a decent card, but it's not broken. So yeah, tier 2 I think is fair. I think there's still a lot of good targets it can touch, but it's not as broken as one we'll get to later. Oh no, technically it's not. It's just a rotted actually, technically, so it's not actually going to be here. But I was thinking about World Peace.
I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, we placed Gogeta in tier 0. We're gonna put this one in tier 2. Though I might have all went even lower, because which good Wish Leaders are there? Like, there is Dende basically. But yeah. Other than that, yeah, let's put it like in tier 2. It's a good card. I mean, like, if we get like some more good Wish, Shinron leaders and stuff, it can definitely, if it were unbanned, it would probably see play somewhere. At some point, it will probably see play.
Yeah. Can I have TN, because I want to vent about how about how much I hate this card. So, for anyone that plays blue, TN is a horrible, horrible card. It's broken, beyond broken, but it was so good because it also set apart the better blue decks. So basically, what it is it's a 4-cost black card. However, if your opponent leader is red or blue, reduce it in your hand by 3. So it ends up being a 1-cost 15k. And then it's got an auto. When you play this card, your opponent can't switch energy to active mode with non-awakened skills until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you play this, that means no D-Magic untapping for this turn or for that turn. His turn, which would have been Beans, and it's just crazy. It's like, it just basically switches off untapping for, in a way, 2 turns, your turn and their turn, like, for 1 mana. And you could do these back to back. To me, this is a tier 0 card, like, as a blue player. I mean, obviously against a ramp deck, it's not really going to matter against them decks, but like Crimson is not going to be able to untap with his leader skill. The Gohan deck is going to struggle with untapping with his leader skills as well. It just shuts off so much untapping for blue. It is literally an absolute killer for blue. So I think you could either say tier 1 in some ways, because it could be arguably like meta defines. I'm not sure if it's tier 0 or tier 1, because a black deck or any deck that would be against blue would run this in their side, and it would cripple them. Imagine you're a blue deck with 1 mana open and they drop this. You're dead. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm in the same train of thought. Like, if this were legal, it would be it would be in every sideboard ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Against blue, and it will just demolish you. If you played blue and your opponent drops this, like then it's time to cry at that point.
Yeah, the only advantage is the Xeno super combo would be so much better because that technically doesn't untap. It picks up and puts one down. So like Xeno super combos would be even more in demand, really. Just as a side bit.
Yeah, I don't think I'm also reading the chat a bit, and I don't think that I would have to agree with some people in the chat. Auraen is also saying like, and Miyamoto are also saying like tier 1, and that's where I would land, because I don't think that it's as against blue it's as broken as these tier 0 cards. But if these were freed, this would warp the meta completely. Like this would just chase blue out of the meta instantly. Like awful. Oh, this should never ever be unbanned. I hate blue, and this should never be unbanned. So,
I can tell you some interesting stories where I was trying to like I say, I played Janemba for pretty much set 5 to set 9. And when people drop this on you and you had to try and survive that, bloody hell. It was difficult, let's just say that.
I'll take the other one, because like they kind of came in pairs, They
did.
They came in the same set. Yeah. Mercenary Tau, which is basically double on steroids. Barrier permanent if your opponent's leader is green, which we all know is never going to happen, or yellow for some reason. Reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. Auto, once per turn. When a card in your hand is placed in your drop area by an opponent's skill, your opponent chooses 3 cards in their hand and sends them to their warp. And this guy has barrier. Of course, it's a lot easier for green to get rid of barrier now with like Fated Rival. So there are ways, Fated Rival, Chilled Promo, what else is there? There used to be the Gohan one. I mean, like, no one is playing it anymore, but there are ways to get around barrier. But like, I honestly, I'm just gonna cut this short. I would put this one in the same tier as TN. Like, if this were unbanned, it would replace Dabura and it would go into every sideboard ever. If Hand Destruction gets remotely good, and it will just warp Hand Destruction out of the metagame forever.
Yeah, I actually think the opposite. I felt like this card was trash, and it's still trash. Now, the reason being is because, again, just talking from experience, so when again, in Janemba, I hand control destroyed it, especially Slug. So I had to have this. And I remember dropping this before against someone, Slug, and all they do is they played back then the Krillin and just killed it. Like, it never stuck around because people would side in the barrier hate, the anti-barrier hate, and it's got no protection in terms of deflect. So all you do is, let's say you're against a hand control deck, they just wait turn 3 or whatever and just Goku it, or again, I actually don't think it would matter because coming out against yellow means nothing, and then every single green deck has Goku, the Rival Seeker thing. Every single deck should. I mean, I don't think hand control is in a great state, but I actually fully believe that if this card was unbanned, I actually don't think it will do much. But maybe that's. Maybe just because, again, when I packed it and played it, it didn't seem to matter. It's not going to do anything against black because they warp. Because only when it's discarded, isn't it? Yeah. So it would maybe do something against green cooler, for example, because they're a bit more different. So it would be okay, but I just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, guys, and I like to be proven wrong, but personally, I would put this in the trash tier.
I wouldn't put it in trash. Once was the reason. So, okay, so we have.
Now, one of the reasons
Okay,
it was
yeah.
banned, was because of Topo. Because what used to happen was, you used to get the decks where, let's say they dropped Topo on you,
Mhm.
used to then drop this, attack into Topo, and you were forcing them to warp cards constantly. It actually wasn't, like, even though decks had it, I would say the main reason it got banned was because of the interaction between when your opponent made you discard cards, like Topo.
Oh.
It actually destroyed your opponent. And it's only 2 mana, so it's not even a big cost. Like, you imagine, you attack, but again, different era when Topo was an actual amazing card.
Mhm.
You sort of, a red deck drops Topo on you, that's fine, I'll pay 2 mana for this, swing with everything, discard 2, and you're warping 6.
Yeah. Well, we have like Tribeca is saying, I remember it being in every side deck, which was one of the reasons it was banned. Miyamoto is saying that it's easily meta-defining. I'm considering what you said about Topo, and I'm also weighing it. Let's put it like this. I think that this is the easiest way to judge this card. If it existed today, would you play it in sideboard instead of Dabura against hand destruction? Like, because like if it were unbanned, either this is going away or Dabura is going away. You're not dedicating so much room for anti-hand destruction tech.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I'd probably more likely pack this than Dabura.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do think that this would be still easily killed. But it, like, where Dabura is a nice little surprise factor. They make you discard, you pay 1, you play it, and then you draw 2, which means you're digging deeper into your deck. So yeah, I agree with that. I would definitely most likely run this over Dabura. But yeah, I probably would actually, yeah.
So I don't know, like I would, I guess, I mean, like if I'm running it instead of Dabura, and if this is like anti-hand destruction tech, I would definitely, I think I would put it, I'm between 1 and 2, honestly, because like you're basically warping hand destruction out of the meta. But then again, it's a lot easier to remove than it used to be when it was a card. Like you said, if I'm playing hand destruction, I will just get my Fated Rival out and remove this guy. But then again, this guy also doesn't have unique.
Yeah, so, but that's again the argument between Dabura and this card. Dabura, unless they have like the certain effects in place, will always draw you 2 cards for 1 mana. And this is not guaranteed to get you any value.
Yeah. So tier 2, let's say.
Well, you can pick this one because I think it's tier 4.
Oh.
I don't think like, because I think if I pay what, even though I was saying would play it over Dabura, I potentially it would need testing, because the difference is this goes on the field, they pay 2 to kill it. It's got me no advantage.
Yeah.
Where Dabura, I discard, which I have to discard anyway, and then I pay the 1 mana I would have done for this, and I draw 2.
Yeah.
So you can choose this one, but my official vote is tier 4 trash.
Oof. And I mean, you're infinitely better player than I am.
But it doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I sometimes get it wrong, and it's been such a long time since I've seen these cards even played or even thought about it. there's so many. It would require testing, but I'm happy that you can pick whatever you would like on this one, bro. Don't let me get it wrong for you.
I'd put it in 2, I think. I put it in 2 just like how nasty it is. It's not an expensive card, and like you can just play like more of them. And if you're playing hand destruction, yeah, you can remove him, but he still sets you back sometime. Like he can mess up your plans a bit and buy your opponent time. I don't think it's trash. I don't think like it's bad. Would I run Dabura? I might run Dabura instead of it. So I think like tier 2 is like in the middle of the road for me. Like
I don't think it's any higher than tier 2.
Yeah. Beerus. I mean, like we spoke a bit before this stream. You know that I just slapped Beerus. I would slap Beerus into actual trash immediately. Like I don't think that this card is any good. Like, yeah, I think that this one is the one of those that got banned because King Vegeta and free play basically. Maybe it was back then, or it was just limiting free play.
The thing is, that's the reason it got banned. Yeah. But it was stuff like, so use the Bardock Overwhelm, the draw 2, discard 2, discard 1, sorry, and then this would come out, which is then a free attacker at no cost. You've not even lost your hand because you've played a battle card. So that's where like this card gets even more dangerous in those kind of decks. I feel like there's a lot of decks that could use it under the right circumstances, like I say, the ones that use, like that Bardock Overwhelm, for example, or again, if hand control was a thing. I mean, again, depending on what it is that's causing you to discard it, because it has to be a battle card skill. I think it would potentially see play. But I wouldn't say it's tier 2 because unlike the Goku or the Bardock, they're a lot easier to bring out because the Goku is just you discard a card and then you bring it out and it's crit. This is just a 15k attacker that can make costs pretty much no costs within reason. So I feel like you could look at tier 3. I think like I don't think it's tier 2, but I feel like tier 3 is fine.
Yeah, I think like you choose so we can go like tier 3. Yeah, I mean like it's a free 15k attacker and that's basically it. So sometimes that's good, like sometimes I mean I'm looking at it like you have the only reason why I would like put it in tier 4 is like if your opponent is one of those, there's not a lot of them, but there are those E-leaders which are just like flat out 20k. And then this guy is like, I guess I do nothing. But, yeah, sure. I mean, like, I really don't care about this card. So, yeah, sure, let's put it in tier 3. Well, let's see. Okay. So I have the pen then. Honestly, I asked around a bit before the stream about like, hey guys, like, why was this banned? I assumed that it was because of heartfelt plea. I wasn't playing when this one was banned. I was also told that there was a sin, Shenron.
Yeah.
Yeah. But looking at it nowadays, I know that Miyamoto in the chat is a judge, if I'm correct, but just remind me, maybe you also know this, maybe you also remember, if I recall correctly, and I'm a bit tired, it was ruled that when a leader awakens doesn't work on the awaken, because heartfelt plea doesn't work on the awaken, right?
If my memory is correct, I think that's what the eventual rule was. Yeah. I mean, it's I mean, once the card got banned, I stopped caring about the rule. because originally when it came out, it was like you could use Heartfelt Plea, and then it was changed so you couldn't. Now, if we look at the wording, so Heartfelt Plea is, when you lead a card, activates Awaken, and Pan says
also when your leader activates
yeah.
Awaken.
So it would be under the same ruling. So yeah, it would only be proper Awakening. But the thing is, it's like you mentioned in Sin. So what used to happen was you used to awaken with a triple, like either Salzino before the errata, or like you would have your triple strike 30k beast, and then what you could do is you would untap him. So like for example with Salzino became a triple attack quad strike with this card. But obviously when it was unerrated. So, because obviously he's got dual attack by nature, and then this card untaps the yellow. So, imagine having to deal 3 swings of quad strike, Salzino turn 3. Like, quite good.
Yeah, I'm seeing people are saying it was busted. Thanks Miyamoto for confirming the Awaken is different. Pen was busted in Sin because you could awaken late. Yeah, nowadays, if it got unbanned now, and with everything that you said, like with Celzino being errated, though, like if we're doing this for Xenoverse, Celzino wouldn't be errated back then. But like, I wasn't playing as much back then.
It was definitely meta defining, because as soon as the card was banned, Sin aggro version kind of disappeared. It kind of was a weaker. It was still existence, but then it's just a cheesy combo that comes off now and again. Like, but then imagine like say, Sal was like the best target for this card.
Yeah.
But it also hurt other decks when this card was hit. So I don't think it would be. I know it's the card you're doing, but I don't think like it would be OP or anything like that, because Sal is errated. Or is Sal not errated in this world?
Let's say, oh man, like you see, the thing is, if I say, well, I would like to say that, like, yeah, if we're doing this for Xenoverse, then Cell isn't errated, but then like that also changes kind of the concept of a lot of other things.
Yeah, I guess so. That's fine. So I think it would still be a very good card, but I don't think it would be like tier 0.
No.
I think it would be decent.
Yeah. I think it wouldn't go higher than decent, So, yeah, I also think like with Cell Xeno on still errata, it would like be decent. It might see play on Xenoverse where Cell Xeno isn't errata, and then it's a terrifying monstrosity that can just bitch slap you 3 times for 4 damage, or hit you for 12. But other than that, like, I think, like, yeah. It's your turn now.
Oh yeah. Heartfelt Plea. To be honest, I don't think this should be banned.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, I'm happy with it being limited to say 1. I think it's a good card, but again, I think it's one of those things where if you had it, it kind of feels bad because it's like a bit too strong. But then it's like with token negates and things like that now, it's like it's not even so bad tapping out like it used to be. So personally, I think it's a great card. It doesn't deserve to be banned, personally. So I would probably put it again with Pan tier 2, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a vocal opponent of this card being banned in the first place. Like I said in the ban list video, like this ban felt so outdated.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think Hartwell could come back to 1. But you know what? In this world would definitely be meta defining. Like this awful thing would be meta defining. Violent Predator. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god. This
Yeah,
thing.
this would be. Sorry, yeah, this is crazy. When it existed, obviously it was in a multicolored format, and the idea of existing again would be crazy.
Yeah, I think that. Let me just check what kind of protection this thing has. It has deflect.
Yeah.
And it goes off when you play it. So that's terrifying. I don't think there's a. I don't remember. I don't think there's a way to cheat it in. I'm not sure.
No, it was just played in ramp decks because it was a blue-green. And also, fun fact, it's Android 21, so obviously you could technically then use it in the new Android 21 deck as well.
I don't want. Yeah, I think this. I don't want to put it in tier 0, but I think that this one goes into tier 0 because if you play it, either you cheat it in through Android 21 or you just ramp. You flat out win the game at that point. Like you literally win, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially against black decks. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, it's triple attack 25k, deflect, energy exhaust standard. When you play this card from your hand, choose all of your opponent's non-multicolored energy and battle cards, ignoring barrier, negate their skills, and return them to the owner's deck as well. Not even hand, just deck. And all players who have cards return to their deck, shuffle the deck. I mean, I don't know why it's worded like that, but yeah. So you think you're against let's use beer as an example. What's that? You're on 15 energy? Nah, mate. All your energy goes back. Like
I'm reading the chat. First off, hello everyone. We are at 22 viewers. We've been hovering around 20ish. 25 the entire evening. Triebake is saying, I'm gonna use my extra copies of Violent Predator as clone tokens for BT20 Android 21. So just film this gameplay. Triebake, just film a gameplay. Like Android 21 versus something. And then just no commentary. Just upload it with no context. And then someone clicks and oh, what's happening? And it's Android, you see 4 of these on the field as clone tokens. Oh, that would be hilarious. Yes, Jamie, it's Peter fucking Dance here with us. Yomnit says the new 21 can play it for yeah, definitely. This should never, ever, from now until the end of the game, they should never. You'd have to be crazy to unban this. That's why we're doing this
to begin with.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this, in April. So we'll see how actually terrifying this thing is in a format where you have Android 21 and it isn't banned. Peter, I'm just giving you ideas.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to see this ever again. Even though I like playing multicolored decks, I definitely don't want to see this ever again.
So next we have we have just a couple of more. This is gonna go fast. Belmont.
Yeah, because all the U3 will just be linked together.
yeah. Belmont. I'm super harsh on these cards that were banned for free play because it's green blocker 20k, activate main, choose 3 of your battle cards and place them in its owner's drop area, play him from your hand, and when you do, you get to KO something. I would say I would use the same logic for Tau and say how often do you actually go so wide right now? How often do you really go so wide that you're hey, I'm gonna go and play Belmont now?
Yeah, I think if it existed now, I don't. You might run maybe one copy. I personally don't think it would see play because when it did see play, it was in the world of for example, Tau. It's basically unique before unique. So it's great against unique decks. Again, when it existed, Thwarting was unique, but you could run 4 of them. Dark Brawly, which ran it, had all their battle cards that cost no mana to bring out, and again they had Thwarting. So even though Balmont was broken in that era, if it came out today, unbanned, I don't feel like we would see it.
Yeah,
we might see one copy in some aggro decks just as a finisher, but I actually don't believe we would see it. I mean, again, I could be wrong, but we don't have enough uniques that are coming out for no mana that we would spam. So
I just throw this in the trash.
Yeah.
What's this? Wait. Oh. No, my cat is trying to jump here. I think she smelled some bullshit. She smelled Cell Surge coming. She's like, this is shit. Hey Churro. Hey baby. Look. So Cell Surge. What do you think of Cell Surge? Oh no, it's like no, get this away from me. Okay, cool. Jamie is asking. Scrub Games is asking. Peter, he's saying, what the fuck? Why is Float in tier 2? Well, Jamie, it was Peter's call, and I agreed with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, ignore Jamie. Ignore him.
Yeah. Just ignore him. Oh man.
But no, it's tier 2 because the existence of that card was broken in the Storm format because of what existed at that point in time. Now it's probably going to be used to bring back Floodgates. Like you're not gonna, and obviously in the Gohan SH deck, like Beerus ain't gonna run it. Crimson might do, but again, what are you gonna be bringing there?
You're off the team, man.
Never mind.
The parameters are, we are looking at Xenoverse style of formats. So current meta, these are unbanned. These are unbanned. Actual trash player. Oh man, like okay, let's, before this turns into a fight, let's talk Cell Surge. I hate Cell Surge. I absolutely hate Cell Surge. I think that Cell Surge took the team. I'm gonna be of my team when I say that Cell Surge took literally 0 skill. I'm just checking. Can you hear me? Because my PC just said that some USB disconnected, and I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, you kind of blanked out for a moment. I didn't know if it was my side. So yeah, you kind of was speaking, and then all of a sudden I heard nothing.
Yeah.
So I just assumed it was my side.
I don't think that. I think that Cell Surge was awful for the game. I think that it was not the hardest deck to pilot. This is gonna get me kicked off the lookout. Well, our best player qualified with Cell Surge. He was super proud for it. I told him that it's trash. It takes 0 brain to pilot. No, he was. Of course, I would be super proud if I qualified for something. Props to him. And then the American finals came, and the first match was a 7-year-old kid who also qualified with Cell Surge. Props to kid. Absolute props to kid. True Chad. Congratulations, kid. If I qualified at that age for like a Nets event, congrats. But like, yeah. I think that, okay, Cell Surge, I can see Tom going off in the comments. I think Cell Surge was toxic, boring, uninteractive, awful for the game, but, and here comes the but, it was also in a very different era of the game. And one of the reasons why Cell Surge was so prominent and powerful was because it was no pre-side best of 1 back then, as far as I remember. Like, when you put Cell Surge in a best of 3, it would struggle like crazy. But if you put it in best of 1, no pre-side, it would just flat out dominate the game. It's an awful deck. It should never come back. It's a disaster. But I think that if Bandai made a post tomorrow saying like, we have seen all of your guys' memes, so we're bringing back Cell Surge to make green a bit better. And this might be controversial, I don't think that this leader will do anything. I think it will just get stomped, absolutely stomped. Because even at its best, can Cell Surge discard keep up with how much decks draw today? Like, if you played Cell Surge and you ran into a Gogeta or Sin, would you be able to destroy their hand and stop them before they just slapped you out of existence? And I don't think that would happen. I think that Cell Surge today would get demolished, absolutely. That's my idea. And of course, Dabura exists, and Preside exists, and in this world, Tau exists as well, and like a lot of other things. Now, I think Cell Surge would just. I think Cell Surge would, yeah, like Miyamoto is saying, maybe help against blue, but then it would just get clapped by red completely. And I don't think that you can push hand destruction. That hand destruction is as strong as it used to be back then. But I went on a tangent, so what do you think?
See, I'm a degenerate, so I would love to see Cell Surge back. I mean, I didn't play the deck that as much as I wish I did. I would love to see it off the ban list, personally, because I think it's a cool leader, but I'm also, I'm into Surge leaders as a whole. I think it, personally, if we think back, like, obviously Icarus used to draw an absolute ton. I don't know who draws more, SS4 Gogeta or Icarus, but Cell Surge in the right hands could deal with Icarus draw power. To a degree, I remember watching some games. I think it was in the was it the Nats? I think it was. I forgot who it was, but obviously one of the top American players were on Cell Surge, and they were playing against an Icarus. Well, I think Icarus most of the day, in fact, I think. And I'm pretty sure he still came like fourth or something in that kind of meta. So I feel like if Cell Surge came back, I feel like it would do really well, personally. I'm not sure how well, because I don't think it would do what it did before, because of the decks that exist now and what have you. But I would love to see it come back, personally.
Well, you indeed are a degenerate, you monster. Like, how can you say things like that?
I generally would like to see it come back. And if anything, maybe more aim towards the successor builds, like maybe move away. But obviously, its hand control is, or destruction, if you like, is its key thing. So, yeah, I think it would definitely be. It definitely wouldn't be tier 0.
No.
It would be tier 1 or tier 2. I'm not sure how meta defining it would be, because it could deal with Icarus in the right hands. And don't forget, there's also new cards now, because obviously it lost some power when it lost the black Goku, but it's also now got the green Goku.
Fated Rivals.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. So Fatal is going to be great for the deck, because you've got the mana spare. So I think it could do really well.
I'm honestly not sure, man, on this one. Then, like, you're presenting some very good arguments. I'm also reading in the comments, Miyamoto is also saying, like, this deck, yeah, it could fight Icarus, it could fight Xeno Gogeta, like, so it could fight a lot of things, definitely. But
yeah, just Z decks exist now. That's the key. I don't know how good the Z decks would be against Surge. Cell Surge.
So I'm like, I would put it in tier 2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be comfortable with that because until we see what it can or can't do, because don't forget the resting ability is absolutely crazy good.
So
and yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to let you say stuff about Gohan before I piss off people. So
Gohan is a really interesting one because obviously for anyone that remember that era of Gohan, wow, what a deck. It was a crazily powerful deck. You could build it pretty much. There was so many ways you could build that deck. You could literally go any colors you wanted. The world was your oyster when it came to Gohan. He could be built in so many ways. The difficult thing is there's a lot more answers now. Back then, obviously, you had answers and you had to draw into them. But now stuff like token negates, for example, every deck has token negates. And that's going to stop 2 attacks. And that's huge. If they are the 1-drop spam build, we have Realm of the Gods in blue and whatnot in the other colors. Also, there wasn't Unisons in that era, if my memory is correct. I forgot when he actually got banned. When did he get banned? Let me check.
I think there weren't Unisons back then.
Let me just check when he actually got banned to put it in perspective of time zones, because that's the problem with when you played this game so long. It's it all merges together. 1 second.
I'm seeing a lot of I'm seeing the duality of man. Miyamoto saying like Gohan is a broken piece of shit, and then Unit saying I want Gohan to come back. Granted, I'm an actual gorilla. So the duality.
It came out in set 9, so it must have been here for the early days of Unison.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah. So, do I think it would be the powerhouse it was? Yes. I think it would still be at least tier 1 meta defining, because the reason it would be meta defining was you would have to pack certain answers for it. You have to respect the deck. And at the end of the day, just like why Thingy got banned for Sin, he's hitting you with triple strike crits. Not once per turn, several times per turn.
Yeah.
And like, this is evil. And the fact is, it can be built in so many different ways. You would have to hope to draw into a token negate, or if you'd be forced to pack the new cards that stop your leader restanding or re-attacking. I forgot the exact term, but I know we had a conversation about it earlier. So I think if Gohan was unbanned right now, it would be tier 1, at least. I think potentially maybe tier 0, if there was potentially a new build, but I would say it's probably the highest tier 1 meta defining deck, because you would be forced to answer this deck. That's why we had a best of 1 ban list, because of him.
Okay, so like you said, there are more answers to Gohan that there were when Gohan came out. And I agree. I think that Gohan in its day was one of the best decks in the game. Like, definitely, like you said, there is a reason why a best of 1 ban list exists. And like it was this awful guy who never should have existed.
Yeah.
And however, while researching for this ban list, I would like to point viewers towards cards that everyone but apparently, I mean, like, even I forgot that these exist until I started reading them. And one exists in every color except black. Set 14, thwarting the enemy counters. They are basically free counters if you spirit boost with them. Limit 1. If your leader is a color, negate the attack, then play this card in rest mode. If you negated a leader card's attack with this skill, your opponent can't attack with their leader for the turn. And there is 1 for each color, and it costs only 1. So if your opponent is playing Gohan and you have 1 energy, you play it, they lose the game if they activate main, basically. Like it shuts down, and it's a common. And there's like a bunch of that. I think that if Gohan ever saw play, people will just side these in every single sideboard, and then like if there is a lot of pressure, pay 1, or like you said, unisons exist. Spirit boost it for free, though Spirit boost 2 is quite expensive, and then just like shut down the leader entirely for a turn at least. So that's what I think would stop it, if it ever came to say. And then of course you have token negates. You have token negates as well. So yeah, that's what I think could probably keep this deck, from being played. Because like you could just, if you're playing Gohan, you would have to be aware that there are things that can just prevent your leader from restanding. And then if you used your, not from restanding, from swinging again, and then if you used your activate main, you basically just flat out lost. So that's my opinion on this. Let me just check what other people are saying. In Best of Friday, literally won first game almost 100%. Maybe for not performances, a lot more floodgates now. Spearables, how consistently you draw it in unison on turn 1, that is true. Hedge secret rare. Going bad ring in Xenoverse. You need free energy for hedge. I mean like I'm gonna go with what you're saying, because even reading chat and listening to everything that you said, like if this guy came off the ban list, he would be played. He would definitely be played.
Yeah, 100%. He'd be meta defining from the get-go.
Yeah.
You would be forced to pack certain cards to even deal with him, and even back then, like you're not guaranteed to draw into those cards. So even like a best of 1 pre-side format, he would still be an absolute monster. Because you have to draw into the, and don't forget, like I said before, this leader was very versatile.
Yeah.
You could play him the 1-drop spam deck, so they played a lot of 1-drops of crits and double strikes, and then you even had like arrival versions, and like this deck could be played so many different ways. And then obviously Ryan, when he won the Manchester event before COVID. Oh no, sorry, he won Swiss. I think he went undefeated, and then obviously didn't quite win it on day 2, but still performed really well. He used the 8. I think it's an 8-drop or 7-drop Goku. No, not Goku. I think it's a Gohan with the Broly secret rare, for example. So there's so many ways to build this deck as well that it's just crazy good. So yeah, it's without question it's tier 1.
Yeah.
I don't think it's OP, but it's very close to it.
And
I'd have to see it, because even though I think obviously token negates and stuff would be a big issue, I'd actually have to physically see if it is before I put it into tier 0.
I read someone in the chat said playing this on Xenoverse event with bad ring laser. That would be.
Yeah, bad ring. It is yellow though.
Bad ring is bad ring is locked. Yeah. No, place 1 yellow card from your hand.
Oh, it's locked in terms of you need yellow energy.
Yeah. Well, I think that like for the next ones, we can just put them all as a package.
Yeah, the only one I wouldn't put as a package is the 2-drop. I think the 2-drop is trash and should never be banned. It's only a 15k, where the 3 cost is a 15k as well, but it was just such a good Like, it was a lot easier because, for example, with the 2-drop, you have to get rid of a 2-drop to bring it out, and there's not really good 2-drops in the same way. I mean, we could put them all together, but I personally think only the 3, and especially the 4. The 4 cost was a crit guy, and then the 5 cost, I think, was a double strike. Yeah, it was. So personally,
it was double strike.
I went and had barrier as well. Yeah. So the 2 cost is the only one I wouldn't say. I would put the 2 cost personally as trash, and then the rest as linked as together as good.
Yeah, because like I honestly I don't remember these 2 costs at all. Like I remember the robots, but like not the 2 costs at all.
Yeah, he wasn't like, I don't think he's good at all in comparison.
I think that we will find ourselves in agreement that this is like meta defining. I think that Universe.
Yeah. The whole Vegex deck became broken as hell with that deck.
I would only, when we're talking about them, I would also put the Turles there as well. Because Turles was also... No, was Turles in Vegex? I remember that he was in Black Boo. I used to play it.
Turles is actually better because it's not leader restricted in the same way. So basically, with the Turles guy, you just choose 2 black battle cards between 3 and 7 and put them in the bottom, so it doesn't care what color your deck is or anything like that. And it's dual attacker 15k by discarding a card. So this is, I would say personally, Turtle is actually better than the U3 cards personally. But yeah. And it's also an activate battle, so you could do it on your opponent's turn as well if you really had to.
Yeah, so just put all of them in meta defining, because like they can all also like go together or in similar decks. I remember the only time I played on Untap, I played with this Turles, and there is the Black Boo deck, the one where if he doesn't have a hand he draws, and then you're playing robots and Turles and human extinction attack and all of those. That was fun.
Very.
Yeah. So, next off, new ruler.
New ruler. I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, should it be banned? Should it not? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's crazy. It should never be unlimited. Like, no way. Like, the fact we used to run 4 of those is absolutely insane. Because at the end of the day, it's a 20k double strike that gets around blocker. Like, that is insane. And then obviously, if in King Piccolo, it's even more insane. Would I like to see it in the game again? I'm going to say no. I think because it's a double strike and because it ignores blocker, like your blocker negate. I mean, at the moment, blocker negates like struggle, say, against the Dark Broly when he plays it, warp it, give it double strike, 40k, you're dead kind of thing. So I think with this getting around blocker negates, I would hate to see that world. So I think I'm happy this is gone, and I don't want to see it ever again. So in that case, I would put it as. Would I put it as OP? I'm not sure. Maybe OP.
I think tier 1.
Yeah. Tier 1. Yeah, let's do tier 1.
It's a bit easier also to get rid of unisons today, so like...
true.
Yeah. Let's go through the rest of them quick, like it's almost 2 hours now. Forced ejection mask Saiyan. Forgot that this one existed. Overall free 1 energy. Activate main once per turn. If you have placed a card in your energy area during your charge phase this turn, okay, if you charged an energy and you have less energy than your opponent, choose one of your opponent's energy and send it to warp. This this completely hates on ramp decks. Completely. Because like you just play this one, you take away one of their energies. So
yeah, I mean, to be honest, if they're not going to ban the 6-drop, maybe it would be a nice balance card to bring back.
Yeah. So I'm I'm 100% 1000% sure that if this guy was unbanned, that he would be warping the meta, as he would be slowing down. You would play him to slow down ramp decks, basically, which there is a lot of ramp decks at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah.
because literally all blue decks ramp.
Yeah.
And also, you get to pick, don't you? And you have energy. Yeah, choose one. So,
Yeah.
because if your opponent was choosing, I would rate it a little bit lower. But because you're choosing, imagine doing it against Beerus. Okay, you got that Xeno super combo in your energy. Get rid of that.
Yeah. You also don't need to warp the one in rest mode. So like you just warp their one for protection or something. Just get rid of it. Yeah.
And there's decks that can recycle this card quite easily as well.
Yeah.
So, I think it would be a great card, and I think it would be in everyone. Not everyone's side deck, because obviously not everyone could manage it, but I think it would be in a lot of side decks.
Okay, I'm letting you take this one because I've never played this deck, so I've heard.
It was only used in Shenron meta days, and to be fair, it kind of died down a little bit. I think Tier 1 is fair because it would see play, and it would be. But I think it would be a nice, even though I play a lot of RAM decks, I think it would be a nice, balanced card, question mark.
I think I'd place it in Tier 1, I think.
Yeah.
I think because I think it would be seeing at least sideboard play, to keep ramp in check. But the card that I want to give to you, because that's what I meant, like I haven't played with this one ever, is Plan for Destruction.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think when they banned this one, it was more of a precaution. They were scared of then another deck ramping too much. But it's basically, if you're Goku Black or Zamasu, you get 10k, and if there's basically a total of 7 or more energy between you and your opponent, you basically ramp with this in rest mode. I think it would be fine if it existed, because Beerus can ramp, Bojack can ramp, Android can ramp. This is just a ramp card. The difference is this is a lot more defensive, and you can't really stop it. But it is then limited to only Goku Black and Zamasu, and you can't do it turn 1. There has to be a total of 7 or more energy between you and your opponent. So this is like live much later on. So I actually think this could come off the ban list. I think there's no problem with this one at all.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. It's just a question of like where would you put it? Like, and I think that if this one came off the ban list right now, like tomorrow, if it came off the ban list, it would do literally nothing.
I think trash, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a couple of Zamasu Goku Black players would be very, very happy, but in the overall picture, it would do literally nothing. Master Roshi. Okay, so guys, for those of you who don't know, Master Roshi did awful things to people. Like, Master Roshi did awful things. 2 energy, 5k, activate main for 1 green if your leader is green and you send him from your drop to your warp, so he doesn't even need to be in the battle area. Choose 1 green extra card in your drop and add it to your hand. The way that you can read this card is play 8 dormant potentials, play multiple cells her destroying Kamehameha that also played with this one. So like just play your green extra cards over and over and over again, basically. This is 4 extra copies of any green extra card in your deck, basically. Yeah, back then, well, I guess for some people even now, the idea of seeing 8 dormant potentials potentially sounds a bit scary, but like I'm not very good at this because for example, as I said, for dormant, I believe the dormant is trash. I don't believe that it's trash, but
Yeah.
I don't think that like it's anywhere close to what anyone is saying. Because like you still get hit with like 30k triple to the face twice, so at least once. So like if Roshi came back right now, like if he came back tomorrow, how good would he be actually?
I still don't think it would see play. Like I felt when it was. I remember when it originally was banned. It felt like a weird ban. I get the idea. I mean, dormant looping back then was a bit different, but I never really agreed with it. I mean, if my memory is correct, they didn't even try limiting it. They just straight banned it. If my memory is correct.
Yeah.
It would probably see a bit more play than it would have done back then, because the thing is, you can pick up any green extra card. So your token negates, for example, would be a big one. And so it would see potentially a little bit more play, but I feel like it's not a great card. But I would definitely see a world where you pack one or two maybe, but I don't think it's gonna see play. So whether or not we look at maybe actual trash,
honestly, like I'm also like between bad and trash, and I'm also gravitating toward trash. Back in the day, the idea of 4 dormants was big. The idea was big, and not just dormant. You can get like cells or destroying Kamehameha as well with it. So like, okay, good targets. But today dormant does like fuck all. Dormant doesn't do anything today. You know, like no matter what, you know, like people say like, oh, you have dormant potential, but like it's not gonna do much. So yeah, I don't think this. I think that I would also put this one in actual trash. I think this one wouldn't do anything. He would definitely see play. Any of these would see play at some point if it got like unbanned, and then people would just move on.
And like, okay. I think it would be like a one-off tech card or something like that, because then it's like you could afford to run maybe one less of a certain extra card if you wanted to play another extra card, and then this then becomes one extra of those. But yeah, it's not gonna it's not gonna be anything special personally.
Like I would say that Cooler, for example, in my opinion, is one of the best decks for running Dormant, because okay, big barrier blocker guy with unisons and stuff, and I even wouldn't put him there. This Roshi, just to get like more of them. Like no. So
Bojack time. I love this card.
Oh,
now this was a meta defining card. This was a bloody good card. It's to me, if it came out now, everyone would be playing blue yellow again. You discard a blue yellow card, you draw one. You untap 2. So good. And also we've got some good, obviously, blue-yellow, well, even better blue-yellow arrivals than we did back then. Fair enough, obviously, it was a bit more abusive in a certain leader that's coming up. However, if this came out, I believe it would be Tier 1, Tier 0. I think it would definitely meta shape. I don't know. I don't think it. The only reason I wouldn't put it Tier 0 is because I don't think every deck would then be blue yellow.
Yeah.
Blue yellow would be incredibly good, but there's still amazing decks out there. So I think I'm happy with the idea of it being Tier 1 with potential to be Tier 0.
Yeah. I agree.
So it'd be interesting to see what the deck is we have, because obviously when this was Tier 0, it was in Meki. So what deck would run it now with Meki dead? Or Meki ban, should I say. So what deck would run Bojack? And I guess it would have to be another yellow deck. But then, or correction, it would probably be a blue deck, like maybe Gohan or something, or unless he needs to be fully mono. But Crimson, for example, could be quite scary with this card. So again, there's things to consider there. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think this card, I would like to see it off the ban list and errated to Bojack. To Bojack leader. I think Bojack players really deserve to have like this guy here. It's a crying shame that, you know, you have yellow Bojack, you had blue Bojack, and now you have a yellow-blue Bojack, which isn't leader locked, and I'm like, this could have been handled very differently, and it would be a nice boost for Bojack. Other than that, I think that this is also tier 1. The reason, like, I think I wouldn't consider it for tier 0 is because when you look at like tier 0 stuff here, it's either flat out broken or it like Gogeta or Violent Predator just flat out wins you the game immediately. So, but definitely meta defining. This thing would do horrible things to meta. Like it was unbanned and not errated, but just like left the way that it is, it would do horrible things to the meta game. Beautiful things to yellow-blue players, I believe.
Yeah, beautiful things.
I'll take this one. I absolutely hated when this guy got banned. He got banned for no reason. Like, oh, this is... No, I'm not gonna go... If I go on a rant, this will even be longer. It's like, hey, you know, sees too much play. Like, okay, sure. If this card got unbanned tomorrow, it would see play in every single deck ever. Like, it will see play everywhere. Just shoot it into meta defining. There is no question, like, will this card or not see play? Like, this card would see play ever. It wouldn't shape the meta around it, but every single deck in the game would play it. At least one copy. So
yeah, because the thing is, when we had Broly in existence, which we obviously now use as the main overrealm, people were still picking this card over Broly.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a safe assumption that everyone would drop Broly again for this particular card.
Yeah.
Even though Broly is so good at warping blockers, and that's probably one of its main reasons to have it in sort of black aggro decks, for example, I could imagine they would love a 25k dual attacker again.
Oh yeah. So you take this busted.
Oh, Meki Freezer, how I miss you, my friend. This is definitely I think OP tier 1. I mean, it's a difficult one because it's OP because of everything you put together. But then it was also OP even after Bojack and before Bojack. So it wasn't like the Bojack was the main reason it was strong. So I would put it, I think if it existed now, especially when we consider the extra cards we have now as well. So it's like, you know, it's even more so than before. So yeah, I think, I mean, unless you have a different opinion, I think it would still be OP if it came out now.
I'm thinking, but yeah, it would definitely not be below tier 1. Like, it would be meta defining. If this thing existed today, you would be hard pressed to play anything else, any other yellow leader if this thing existed today.
Yeah. Let me see if there's any new 2-drop extra cards we've perhaps forgot about that's recently come out while you're talking.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, I'm with you, man. Like, I think that if there is one like tier 0 leader, it should be this one, cause this one is just flat out broken. Like, this one, it's one of those that, like, with every set has more potential to be broken. Whenever new cards come out, he has just more potential to break the game. So I'm perfectly comfortable tossing him in tier 0.
And also as well, you could do your token negates at 8 life. Well, correction, technically it would be -1, but yeah, I mean, or when you're at 4, you could do it as well. You got U9 Assemble. You could also, because you'll probably be running Death Blaster now because of the 6-drop ramp decks, you now play that for no mana on Awaken. Fair enough, it costs you a life, which is kind of a bit of a hindrance, but the amount of cards you would draw, I would have no doubt in my mind that it would be back to its usual tier 0 self.
We have only 2 left.
Yes, 2 left. Woohoo!
Oh, Begrudging Respect Piccolo. Barrier. Permanent that I don't think is relevant.
No, the permanent's irrelevant, mate.
And then like Auto. Oh, it's a blue card. So I keep missing the fact that it's blue. When you play this card, if you charged an energy and you have less energy than your opponent, choose up to one of your opponent's energy and place it in their drop area. It's
the same as the Overwhelm one, basically.
Yeah, so I think like it just goes into meta defining. It's the same as Overwhelm one. It does the same thing except this one is locked to blue while this one isn't. So you can argue that like this one is slightly worse because you need to pay one specific blue.
And also as well, the reason why is because this puts it in the drop where the other one warps, and it's it's a 15k swinger, I think it is as well, where this is a 10k.
Yeah. I think maybe we can even put it in decent. Then.
Yeah, I think decent. I don't think it's as good as the black one.
Yeah.
Because it's less. The black is less mana. It can be ran in any deck, basically.
Yeah.
This one's a lot more lethal. I mean, technically, you could do them both. So if you're at 3 mana and let's say he's at 5, 6, whatever, you could technically do both in blue. But I think decent's fine.
And the last one is yours.
This is pure trash. This should never be on the ban list. For anyone that, I mean, it's a weird one, but for anyone that doesn't know, it's got Deflect, 1-drop, and basically when you play the card, you draw one, like most of them, and then players can't use non-keyword skills to return battle cards in the battle area to the owner's hands during this turn. During their turn. For the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So this would be pretty broken, I think, in like AOD, maybe like where you bounce stuff back, but you're not actually able to bounce it back or whatever. I mean, but nobody ran this freaking card. It was only banned because of the shitty PyCon deck that came out that never did anything anyway. Because when this was banned, if my memory is correct, the very first PyCon deck came out. Which did a lot of bouncing, and that was still a trash deck. Obviously, before then, the only deck I think it worked against was the Gogeta
Red Blue.
Well, the Exodia type deck thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. Guy in chat said it would actually help against Gohan Beast. So maybe it has a little bit more use now than it did back then. So maybe it does need to stay banned now. But either way, I don't think it would do much.
Yeah.
So I'd probably put it in trash tier. But I can see slight situations. But it's like the cunning cards. The cunning cards are really good in certain situations, and I think this falls into that same category. Like if they've got the Beastan Gohan rare and stuff like that, it's good in that situation, but against like a black deck it does absolutely nothing. So yeah, I think it's fine, but I think it would be trash.
Yeah, I'll just go with you and I'll say like just slap it in trash, because like I said, I think that for the game, I think that for the game effects for 1 mana are extremely powerful, because like you shouldn't be able, just pay 1 and turn 1 affect the entire direction of a game, and like there's nothing that can be done about that. I think those effects are powerful, but this just isn't one of those. This is just like, it's so niche. It is so niche that like I don't think, even with Gohan and other stuff, I don't think that if this was I think that if this was unbanned, I don't think that a lot of people would immediately notice at all. Like, so it's I mean, like, you would notice because of the Facebook post, but still it would be like, yeah, sure, this happened. So that's all of them. That's all of them, man.
Woohoo!
And it only took like what, 2 hours. Awesome.
I still love it. It's like, good talk to you. It's like, yeah, let's take like no more than an hour.
Yeah.
It's like double. Oopsie.
Yeah, nah, it's fine. It's fine. Well, guys, that's it for the tier list. I'm going to be immediately publishing this one on YouTube, so you can just rewatch if you skipped something. Peter, thanks for joining me today. It's always good to have you on the channel. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I hope that this inspired you and some other viewers here in the chat who are thinking of coming to Zenkai Showdown 2 Xenoverse to build some decks for the Xenoverse format. Because one thing that's at least positive is that all of these cards are dirt cheap because they're banned. So yeah, I hope this inspires people to experiment and to see just what kind of absolute nonsense are we getting ourselves into on the 22nd of April.
True.
Yeah, that's
buying level 2 Zenos and buying level 2 Trunks. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, guys, it was fun. It was fun having all of you here. Peter, it was awesome having you here again. And guys, I think I'm going to call this an evening. Thanks for joining us. And that's it. I will see you all in the next video.